Okay, Titanic 2 is the story of the ship called Titanic 2. It takes place in the modern era, and there's no way, shape, or form this movie will ever be misconstrued as being anything to do with the James Cameron one. It's a new state-of-the-art luxury cruise liner that they've done all these fantastic enhancements to. It will notify if there is an ice flow within 500 yards. It's also been reinforced to sustain a head-on collision, not a side collision. I don't know a lot about boats, but I'm thinking if you're a boat, your front is normally fairly narrow, that's so you can cut through the water. If you happen to hit something, and you hit it straight on, either you're going to be pushing it with you, it's going to stop you, or it's probably going to roll to the side. And in doing so, it's going to perforate the side of your boat and you're going to go under. Lo and behold, that's what happens to this boat. It's because there's ice flows that are being pushed around by a tsunami. A tsunami that, I had to write this down, was 843 miles per hour because of an ice flow that broke off of Greenland. Of course, when they go to Greenland, it is a blue screen or a green screen that makes what you see on the Soup and Tosh.0 look absolutely amazing. There is such a break between the person and the background that it almost gives it a pseudo 3D effect. The nice is the movie actually doesn't take itself overall that seriously. It has that serious tone, but you can tell if this tongue was planted any more firmly in cheek, it would be coming out the other side. The acting is bad. They take bits and pieces from the first Titanic movie and try to throw them in, but when you have bad acting, when you have a guy who was on his way to being a Coast Guard, but then when his father passed, he became essentially the runner of the corporation that created Titanic 2, and they're crossing this area, and there's a live wire. I should mention the ship is metal. There's a live wire in a pool of water. He goes, well, if we jump up and grab on there and don't touch the water, we should be okay. Bear in mind, they're saturated. As long as our feet don't touch the ground, we should be okay. She looks at the girl and goes, right? She's like, I don't know, but you're a nurse. Okay, if this guy was about to become a Coast Guard, and his father runs a multi-billion-dollar corporation that actually created this ship, I would assume his dad was a pretty smart guy. I would assume his dad might actually have told him, you know, if you happen to see, a live thing of wire, a live wire touching water on a metal surface, that yeah, if you were to jump up and grab a bizarrely insulated line and then shimmy across the area with that, you're probably going to be okay. Because you're not touching the water at all. This movie was pretty bad. But on the bright side, with it being a sequel to one of the highest grossing movies of all time, and it being done with like no major stars, that's kind of what I expected. So Titanic 2. It's the same thing as the first one. It's people on a boat getting damaged, people getting in lifeboats, people trying to escape the boat, some people dying, and a love story. That is pretty much about it. The only part that I actually found really interesting was when the male lead, the person who is the heir to the shipping company, shows up, and he shows up with like 4 women. And I was like, wow. And then he ends up having like the love story subplot with one of the nurses on the ship. It's like, okay, you just walked in with like 4 women. You're going to leave all of them to be with a girl you left because her dad punched you because you stole his boat for a joyride.